So I'm Skip Torno. I'm 8331 Lagoon Street, Harson's Island. I'm on the HIDA board. It's kind of as a lead-in. I've been involved in local politics for over 20 years, 4 of which on the HIDA committee, but prior to that, both as elected and appointed official in Romeo and Bruce Township. So yeah, I've been around a little bit. When I got on HIDA, I found it curious that there was no money budgeted for the Transportation Authority. I'd never run into or seen anything like that. Just found it very odd. But anyway, coming to you guys tonight to ask you for some funding. We haven't had any. We're looking for if we can get 200 grand out of the ARP funds we can use for finishing our feasibility study and also get our grant writer back. So that's what we're looking for.
Okay, I mean, this is the first we've known, I mean, we got this letter, and I'm sorry, I didn't know what they're asking for. Well,
they said they're asking for a budget.
Yeah.
Requested to receive a budget, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean,
You're not asking for a budget. You're asking for funds.
I'm asking for funds so we can have a budget.
Okay, so it's not a budget. You guys set the budget, apparently. Right?
We'd
Of which we
like
have
to
not
have
seen.
a budget. We don't have
You're
any money.
asking for funds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this
So
board.
you're not asking for a budget.
This board
so you're asking for
incorporated
funds.
this Transportation Authority. And you guys have never funded it. I mean, how does that work?
Who drafted this letter?
I don't know.
That's a reasonable question.
Well, I don't know. I'm giving you
Are
a
you on the
reasonable
board,
answer.
sir? You just stated you're on the board, right?
I am on the board.
Well, it's not signed. I just wondered who drafted it.
I'm telling you, I don't know. I'm filling in for Harold tonight.
Okay,
Okay?
just a question.
Okay?
So
I'm
do you know when the
Put you on
board,
defense.
Giving you an honest answer.
do you know when the board approved sending this letter to us?
No, I don't know that either. Is there a problem with sending you a letter asking you for funding?
No, but it's a board decision to do something like this, and I see nowhere in the minutes that the board even discussed sending us a letter. Because we were looking for information, because it's very vague, it doesn't list an amount, it says you're asking for a budget, but what you're asking for is monetary, you're asking for an amount, so I went through the minutes looking to see your discussion with regard to it, to try and understand it a little bit better, and I find nothing in your minutes about requesting this from. So the Open Meetings Act, you have to have every decision made in a board meeting. This is an act on behalf of the board of 5 people. And I see nothing in your minutes or your agendas about doing this. So is this one person sending this, or is this everybody on the board? And if it's everybody on the board, that technically is a violation of the Open Meetings Act.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. I don't have an answer for you. You know, on our board, we've heard a lot about how we're getting supported, you know, from the township and that. And we've asked for things in the past, like, can we talk to the attorney? We were told no. Can we talk to the grant writer? No, get your own.
we don't have a grant writer.
Oh, Artie, you get a lot of grants.
Yes, I'm the grant writer.
All right, well, have you ever offered to work with us on a grant?
You've never requested me.
Oh, come on, Artie. You know, you guys establish this board, and then you throw it back at us like that.
Does PCE help you with the grants at all?
Sometimes not. Actually, I write them. I sometimes request information from them and to support. I think this letter is so poorly written. I actually requested 2 requests last week for funds. One was for Marshmaster. And, you know, I put in it, you know, how much I was requesting, which isn't in here. I told them what exactly it's for and how it was going to be spent. I put in there, you know, what the timing of it was going to be, who it benefited, and why it was needed. And that's just common questions or common things you put in any request for funds. And this, I mean,
Well, I think you intended on saying when they came.
well, no, actually, it says in the letter they want us to vote on it tonight.
Mhm.
Parsons Island Transportation Authority verbally requested to receive a budget in the past. This was not addressed. The budget was never granted. A budget was never granted. You make your budget. You know, that's what I don't understand. Budget was never granted, and we received no monetary support from Clay Township. The correspondence of this is an official request for a budget. It's an official request from your board to request for a budget from us. Again, I don't know what budget actually means in this. Please place our request on the next agenda for the January 15th Clay Township Board meeting and address the issue. HIDA board members, plural, will attend the meeting to present the request and ask that Clay Township Board vote on it. That's what your letter, your name's attached along with 4 others says. Thank you, Parsons Island Transportation Authority. Like I say, it's very vague, and now I have 200,000. We have a number, but we still don't know what it's for or where it's going to
You
be
said what it was
spent.
for. You said it was
Yeah,
for.
I already told you what it's for, Artie. It's for finishing up the feasibility study
Okay.
and for getting our grant writer back.
Okay, well, that should have been in the letter. I've received, I think you guys put a email request out for people to come to this meeting and support the Clay Township to give you ARPA money, because that's what was, we've gotten several emails the past 2 days about, I don't know, did you guys receive some emails?
14.
14?
I got
A
14.
lot. And they all said, you have $850,000 of ARPA money, and that's what we want.
Right, that's about 50/50, wanting it and not.
Yeah, and actually, it was, I had 12 that didn't want us to support you in it, and 8 that wanted support. But that was all ARPA money. And so I had to explain to them that we just can't give HIDA ARPA money, and why. But someone communicated from your board, go out and come to this meeting and support, that the board will get ARPA money to HIDA. And there again, I don't know where it comes from. We just started getting all these emails.
And it also stated to reduce the amount of taxes that everyone would have to pay if the millage passes.
Right.
But-
So,
Well, it
Well-
comes down to, if we would have had some funding from the start, we wouldn't have had to do this millage thing in the first place. We kind of got backed into a corner by you guys. So I came here tonight fully expecting to not get any money. And
Okay.
I think that's probably what's going to happen here. So,
well, we don't have enough, I'm speaking for myself, I'm just one of 7. I don't think we have enough information to make a decision, let alone, like I say, we just found out you're asking for 200 grand. Okay. All the emails basically said we want $850,000 of ARPA money.
Well, with regards to the ARPA funds, just to be clear, HIDA was taken out of our audit because they are not a department. They are not like the police. They are not like the fire. They are not part of the township general services. The allocation from ARPA was utilized by taking a standard allowance for these ARPA funds. That being said, it has to be used for general government services. That's the guidelines of ARPA. And as HIDA is its own entity, we have no control over HIDA. We don't control your budget or your decision-making. So it's not a government service that's operated by the township, and it's not an approved use of these funds. So we can't take any of this ARPA money and give it to HIDA, just to be clear.
Okay.
So the email that went around about ARPA money is a non-starter because it's not a legal use of our funds. So,
It came from your HIDA, your generic HIDA email that went out to everybody, and everyone forwarded that to us. And another point, Skip, in your articles of incorporation, on number 9, it says, HIDA, the board, HIDA, shall furnish an annual report to the governing body, that would be Clay Township, of participating member with respect to operations, maintenance, financial condition of the authority. We've never seen that. And that's in your articles of incorporation. And I would be hesitant to give taxpayer money to HIDA until we see a budget and progress and other things. And I'm sorry, I got 2-3 attorneys calling me, telling me, we've asked for their budget and they're refusing it. I mean, it's mind-boggling, the stuff that I'm being questioned on. They're questioning me, this millage that you guys are asking under Public Act 196. It states that you have the right to ask for taxation. Have you read this? Mm-hmm. And it says under a special or general election. Well, you're doing it on the primary election. A special is April, or when's the date? April or May and August. And the general is in November. A primary election is meant to reduce the number of candidates running for a general election. And the theory behind that is, okay, in our case, for this primary, there's just a question of the Republican candidates that we're going to choose. There isn't a question of a Democrat candidate. It's set. So really, no Democrat has to come to this election to vote. So the amount of people that show up to the election, that's the theory behind this. People are questioning me on this. I don't know.
Well, it seems if that would have been an issue, Artie, that the St. Clair County Clerk would have pointed that out to us and not let it be on the ballot.
Well, they don't know themselves, but I'm just saying, I'm not sure if it could be challenged or not. I don't know. I have people calling me and telling me these problems.
Did you guys have a public hearing for the ballot proposal?
Don't know as if we had a public hearing. We had discussed it at our meeting
Okay.
with the public.
Was it even an agenda that they were doing it? Well, I don't think it was an agenda item.
No, so understand, you have to post a specific public hearing. You have to do a notice in the paper, X amount of days before your meeting, that you are specifically having a public hearing, just like we did this evening with Point Trumbull Road for rezoning. We posted a specific posting for a public hearing.
Put it in the paper.
The one we had tonight wasn't required by law for us to have. For you to tax somebody, by law, you have to have a public hearing. If this millage goes through and someone wants to fight it and go to the tax tribunal, they have to be on record at a public hearing against the tax. That's where the people get their option to speak and to let you know their thoughts, whether you have this millage or not. So this is going to be a problem if this millage goes through, because there was no public hearing held.
And same with the budget, right? You pass the budget.
Same thing with the budget. You have to have a public hearing for your budget when you pass your budget.
And we haven't even seen your budget. We haven't seen it.
I mean, honestly, today I pulled your treasurer's reports. Like I said, I was just trying to find out the background of this letter that you sent us. And I have some issues because you guys have all these expenses every month, you know, $16,000, $18,000, but you never approve anything. I mean, that's the first thing we do on our agenda as a public organization, entity, is we do our bills payable. You guys don't ever approve paying anything. You had $23,000 in expenses in November. Those items need to be on your agenda. They need to be approved, and people need to know what you're spending this money on. There's no
There's a
way to find out
feasibility
where
study,
this
right,
money
that was
was
approved.
that you received from the state and what it was spent on, other than, the only thing I could find was a 22, 23, and 24 proposed budget that was tabled. And then in April, it was passed, but it was passed with no board of directors insurance, to put that to the wayside, and yet, so that wasn't approved, and then at the next meeting, Gary reported that the board of directors insurance was renewed through April of '24. Well, it was never approved. So I have a lot of questions.
So,
I mean, we
before we-
put a lawyer on the board with you to help you, because he
Yes.
should know the legalities of how to work open meetings acts and how to, you know, navigate the public acts to know what you need to do and how you need to do it. And I apologize that did not happen, but we can't run your board, you know, and your board needs some help.
and
So are we going to just sit up here then and grill me for HIDA, or are you going to address the thing for looking for funding, or what do you want me to
I
do?
apologize that you're the only one here, but these are my concerns, so I have an issue with providing funding, and we can't give them ARPA money. It would have to be money out of a budget. It would have to go through a budget process with our budget for next year, but as far as I'm concerned, but it's just me.
I would have a hard time giving them taxpayers' money until they clean the house up a little bit, do a little housekeeping.
Accountability. Yeah, accountability.
Internal controls, I know the audit before, they were lacking. I would hope that a year later that those issues were taken care of. There were significant budget issue or issues with your audit from the year before. And we haven't seen the audit report yet for HIDA, but like we just had for Clay. But before, there was significant issues with your audit. Internal controls, there wasn't a budget passed, there was no accounting system. And I would hope that's been rectified. And you say about getting grants, when we go for grants, they look at our audit and they make sure we have a clean audit. And if we don't have a clean audit, guess what? We don't get grants. So there's lots of challenges.
I
Yeah,
know,
in
Gary.
April of
You
'23,
should
they said,
be-
in your minutes, updates will be provided to Clay Township on an ongoing basis.
When is that?
April of '23.
What does it say?
Updates will be provided to Clay Township on an ongoing basis. I don't believe we have ever received any updates.
Well, we requested a few meetings ago on the island, and nobody showed. So. I don't know, would you want to withdraw this letter and redo it, or?
Yeah, let me withdraw that letter. We'll
Okay.
redo it, we'll resubmit it.
All right.
Do you need support and,
Yeah, we
and
could-
guidelines, like, to help channel you, like, to get you back up in front of the board and to be able to be in a position to answer the questions that are going to be asked? Do you want that help? Is there a representative you can?
I guess what I would want to know is this board going to support HIDA? And, you know, it sounds like I'm going to be fired anyway. So I'm just going to put it out there. Artie, I mean, are you representing the people in Clay, the people on the island?
I
Or are
represent
you
Clay
representing
Township.
your brother's business? I mean, a lot of
represent-
people are asking me this question.
Okay, I represent Clay Township. and you're asking for money from Clay Township residents. And before, personally, I'm willing to do that, is I got to make sure that your house is clean. And right now, we can't say it is or not.
Did you guys complete your audit?
No, we have not.
That'd be one thing I would like to see. And a
That's-
budget.
Would you like us to compile these questions in a list and get it to you so you can get the
That-
answers to them?
Yeah.
That would be fine.
Okay.
And as far as the audit goes, I guess up till a few days ago, we assumed we were going to be part of your audit again. And we just heard that we're not. So
We made that decision a while ago, but
that wasn't communicated to us, so.
I believe their treasurer was out of the country. That was the issue.
so. Well, should we make a motion recognizing that Heidi's going to withdraw this letter and, or request, and that we give them some guidelines, that things we'd like to see moving forward if there's going to be another request?
So moved.
Support.
Huh?
Sounds like a good motion.
Okay. And we're not saying no, but we just we need more information. Okay, I have motion and support. Any more discussion?
Yeah, so let me just briefly state something for record. HIDA is ingraining themselves with the island, like they're trying to pair up, right? And it's one and the same. And according to emails that I'm getting, right, it's not one and the same. This is a divisive, polarizing topic. So with that said, like, just because we're asking them to resubmit, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, I support the island wholeheartedly. And I know the members of our board support the island. But just because we're asking HIDA to clean up the request doesn't mean that we won't support the island. And I just want to make sure that's clear. Those are two way different entities, two completely separate things in my mind. And I just need to say that because, and you're in a difficult spot, right? Because you're the representative, right? And we're asking you difficult questions on information that we're getting, and you're not able to supply some of the answers. So this is not a personal attack on you or your character. We're trying to find the answers, and if things line up and we can help you, then there's a portion of the board we'll vote on whether or not to extend financial means and services to the best of our ability. But things have to line up first, and so we don't get ourselves in the pickle. Because we're an acting governing body, and we have channels and guidelines that we must follow. There is no deviation. We have to follow this. So all we're trying to say, I guess, I'm trying to say personally, is that if you allow our team to help you outline the questions that need to be asked and the background information that we'll need to make the decisions, then the next time a board member comes in front of us, it'll be a lot easier discussion. And again, it's not a personal attack on you or your character, sir. I promise you that.
Okay, we have motion and support. Any more discussion?
Who supported it? Chris?
And you said so moved.
You want me recused, right?
Yes.
We doing a roll call?
What?
We doing a roll call?
No, we can do them. We don't need a roll call for this. So all in favor of the motion, indicate by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed?